Hello everyone, Dr. David Kulla here with Synergy Wellness. Today we have a patient who came to me all the way from Germany and has been having a difficult time trying to get the right care. And I want to show you something here on his x-ray. So take a look right here, get in close, and you can see my mouse right here. And you can see his clavicle right here, the top of his clavicle right here. And I'm going to make a white hash mark right there, okay? So you can see that. Now, we're going to come over to his other clavicle, and we're going to make a mark there, okay. Now look at the difference between this one and this one. See how this one here is higher? So anything over a 7 millimeter difference is separation. So he has a clavicle separation and that was never diagnosed. I'm surprised because it's right there. Now, I don't have a tool to measure his x-rays. He brought some x-rays from Germany, but I can tell just from looking at it, from my experience, that this is definitely over 7 millimeters. So he has a clavicle separation, and we just found out he's a skier. He's from Germany, of course. He's had a few falls, but he said nothing big, no big deal. But it doesn't take much, and as a young guy, how old are you? 19? So it could have been some falls when he may have had this for a long time, but now he's got all sorts of other problems, and we're gonna get into that in just a second. Okay, so now, because we now know that he has a separated clavicle, okay, and he had, by the way, an MRI done. He's had injections, cortisone injections. The MRI didn't show anything. It didn't show any disc herniations. What else did you have done? You had x-rays done, and it showed some neuritis, right? But I had to translate that from German to English, so that can always be a challenge, but I like to do my own homework and see what we're dealing with here. We're gonna go ahead and show you guys, and come on up front here, and I'm gonna show you what 7 millimeters looks like, or more than 7 millimeters. Here's the top of his right clavicle. Here's the top of his left. Look at the bottom of my thumbs right there. You think that's even? This right one is way lower, more than 7, maybe even 10. This has to be corrected. Not only that, if you look here, his clavicle right here sticks out. It's forward, right? You even notice that. So what that's now done is it's created thoracic outlet syndrome for him. And I've done some videos. If you guys have ever been diagnosed with thoracic outlet syndrome, check out that video on thoracic outlet syndrome. And I go into some details about thoracic outlet syndrome. You have vascular thoracic outlet syndrome, which can be dangerous because it cuts off all the blood supply to your arm, okay? Then you have neurological. You can even have both. And I checked his pulse on this side and I checked it on that side. And I'm not feeling a strong pulse on this side. So I feel like he has neurological and vascular thoracic outlet syndrome here as a result of some sort of trauma to this. So we have to fix this. We're gonna laser in here to open up and dilate the blood vessels. And we only have a short period of time to do this before he gets back to Germany. So lay on your back, sir. So normally he comes in, arm pain, shooting down his arm, inside of his arm, numbness and tingling in his hands. You're thinking disc herniation, right? Not in this case. So we're gonna check your shoulder, your elbow, your wrist. Okay, so what I want you to do is I'm gonna open this arm up, resist me. 1, 2, 3, resist. No, you're gonna keep your hand like that. Yep, 1, 2, 3, resist. Good. And I'm gonna push in. 1, 2, 3, resist. Good. 1, 2, 3, resist. Good. 1, 2, 3, resist. This was a little weak there. Okay, relax that on. And I'm just going through a bunch of muscle tests here. Arm, palm out, facing out, so like that. Lock that elbow straight. I'm gonna pull out this way. 1, 2, 3, resist. That was weak. 1, 2, 3, resist. That was weak. Let's try this side. So we'll be able to compare it. Already 3 things tested positive. 1, 2, 3, resist. Good. Take your thumb. 1, 2, 3, resist. Good. 1, 2, 3, resist. That was weak. Something going on with your elbow here. 1, 2, 3, resist. That was weak too. So we'll deal with that elbow. That's something separate. So he tested positive for sternoclavicular subluxation. We already know that. We looked at it on x-ray. We just saw it with our fingers, but not everybody's as obvious. Some people are more subtle. It's barely noticeable. But this needs to be taped for 10 weeks. 10 weeks. Okay, so you're gonna have to go back to Germany and have it taped. I'm assuming you're not here for 10 weeks?
Yes, but in New York.
For how long?
Until 25th of October.
25th of October. Okay, we've got 6 weeks to get them started. Okay, so it's a good start. We'll have enough time to open up the vascular bundle here and all throughout the arm, and and get that feeling back into your arm, and then correct this. But that's what's going on here. That's a diagnosis of a thoracic outlet syndrome because of a separated clavicle, not a disc herniation, and we're gonna go ahead and fix that. So I'll show you guys how we do that in just a minute. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start with cold laser therapy. And I mean, not only is this gonna help with the pain, it's also gonna help inhibit the nerves so that numbness and tingling gets down in the arm, but it's also gonna dilate the blood vessels. So it's gonna have a multi-pronged effect here on him. And we're gonna jump right to this cold laser therapy for him. And again, we go right over the vascular bundle here, right over the thoracic outlet. And I did a great video on thoracic outlet explaining thoracic outlet in detail. So make sure you guys check that video out. In this video, we're gonna focus on treatment. So he hasn't been able to get the right treatment. And what have you done so far besides injections?
Chiropractic care in Germany.
Chiropractic care in Germany. Okay, did any of your chiropractors adjust your clavicle?
No.
Okay, so what you may need to do is find a CCEP. So it's called a Certified Chiropractic Extremities Practitioner. Okay.
Yes.
So that's what I do. I do extremities. There are other chiropractors that do it. I don't know how many in Germany do it. I don't know where they go to school. And typically some of the newer grads are getting that training right in school, not just the spinal adjusting training. You're just gonna have to do your research and try to find somebody. I don't know what to tell you. I wish I had somebody for you. We're gonna get you started here in 6 weeks and probably get you at least minimum of 50% improvement. So I'm looking to improve his symptoms by at least 50% in 4 to 5 weeks. And if we don't get that, we release the patient from care, refer them out to somebody that can. So you're gonna know in 4 to 5 weeks, and maybe he'll let us do a follow-up video at the end of 4 to 5 weeks before he goes back to Germany. Hopefully you remind me, and we'll do a follow-up video, and I think he's gonna be pleasantly surprised. He's gonna get very unique treatment here. I'm not too concerned about the prognosis here. I think he has a good prognosis because he's never even had his clavicle adjusted. So he hasn't even had the proper care to begin healing, to begin the healing process here. So we're gonna start that process today. So I'm excited to help this guy. Do you play any sports right now?
Just soccer.
Soccer, okay. Which you don't need your shoulder and arm much for, okay. But it's a nuisance. You sleep, you can't work out, it causes all sorts of other problems. Do you have headaches too?
No.
Okay, then I'm gonna just go above. I'm getting the thoracic outlet syndrome right from the front and then from the top as well. I just wanna make sure I hit it at all angles. You're not gonna feel a huge difference after today, but it's gonna feel different to you today for sure, okay? It might even be a little bit sore, okay? I'm gonna tape your shoulder down today, or up, I should say. I'm gonna tape it up. It's an awkward place to have to tape that shoulder, but the other big question is how long has it been separated for? The longer it's been separated for, the longer it takes to heal. But typically 10 weeks that clavicle will hold in place, and the sharpies of fiber right here that hold your clavicle in alignment will start to heal and repair over 10 weeks. Okay. And I think we did a video on a gentleman that had tattoos all over his arm, had 7mm separation of the clavicle at the sternoclavicular joint, and we taped it, and 10 weeks later it was correct, it was fine. So on that 10th week he came in, I didn't have to adjust or anything. The last few weeks we didn't have to adjust anymore. So it's very effective, and we're gonna go ahead here into the bundle here in the front. And you said that you get some numbness and pain down in here, right? Yes. On the inside, okay? Now, I have a rental laser up front. Okay. So you can rent these lasers and we show you where to treat. Okay. Not a bad idea for you to actually take that this weekend. We really don't have a lot of time. Okay, yeah. If you were gonna be here for, you lived here, it would be another story. But I think because we don't have a lot of time, I would like you to take the laser home. It's a long holiday weekend, so you're gonna laser in 6 hours from now. So it's now 10, 11 o'clock, so anytime after 6 p.m. You're gonna laser again tonight. I'll show you where and what program to use. And you're gonna do it again tomorrow morning, and then twice a day. And then tomorrow night, and then you've got Sunday and Monday, and then you'll bring the laser back on Tuesday, okay? It's not gonna replace the adjustment or taping. The taping will hold for 5 days, but it's gonna help you speed this process up immensely. And just place your arm right there, good. So he's got a bundle of nerves and blood vessels that go through these parts, so we're just vasodilating those vessels because they're compressed here. And are you wondering if this adjustment is painful or not? Or, I mean, you've been adjusted before.
Yes.
So the clavicle right here is probably the most uncomfortable adjustment that we do, but it's really not bad. It's not anything worse than you're already feeling, you know? Okay. So we measured, I showed you previously a close-up of how off the shoulder was. So now I'm gonna have you slide all the way down. So your knees are right over, there we go, lay back. Good. So there are several ways to adjust the clavicle. We use activators, drop tables. So I'm gonna show you guys today 3 out of those 4 or 5 techniques to adjust his clavicle. Number 1, we're gonna get the power drill out. No, it's not really a power drill. He's gonna be sore anyway. He's taking a laser home with him, so that'll help with the soreness. So I wanna get some motion out of his thoracic spine. We don't have a lot of time to get this to set back into place. So, you hear that? We're gonna go ahead and adjust. So turn your face that way. Is that tender under there?
Yes, a little bit.
Yeah. You okay?
Yes.
Okay, head back to center. That's called an arthrostim. This is more of a handheld device. This is called an activator. We use these on all different types of people. Just depends on what they can tolerate, what's best for them. They all work. And this, again, both of these I can adjust the strength. Turn your face to that direction there, yep. Okay, back up to normal. Okay, and then a third way is by hand using a drop table here. So turn your face that way. And deep breath in. Good, and come back up. Now I want you to slide back up. Okay, now we're gonna test that clavicular joint, right? So remember this, test palm out. So we're gonna go ahead and test that, and 1, 2, 3, resist. Wow. Much better, much bigger difference there. And 1, 2, 3, resist. Wow, big difference. Okay, we had this as an issue. 1, 2, 3, resist. That's much better. Your elbow was fine there. You had an elbow issue here. This is completely separate from his thoracic outlet syndrome. So I'm just going to adjust his elbow. I want to check it. Resist. Okay. And just relax here. And okay, and 1, 2, 3. Put your elbow in my leg. 1, 2, 3, resist. Good. 1, 2, 3, resist. Good. Much better. That gave easy before. So that's a big difference. Now let's have you stand up in front of the camera. Let's take a look and visually look at your clavicle. So come on right up here. And you guys may not see a big difference here, okay? So okay, there it is. A little difference, you know, hard for you guys to measure. This is a eyeball view, not scientific. It's a little better. I'm not expecting this to move all the way back up in one visit. I'm expecting he's probably had this for several years.
Yes.
This is, you've been dealing with this for how many years?
2 to 3 years.
And he may have even had this for 2 to 3 years before he even had the symptoms. Let's go ahead and tape you, yes. So we're going to have you sit right here. This is, I think, the most challenging joint to tape just because of where it is. It's a little bit uncomfortable and it just takes a long time. 10 weeks, I think 10 weeks is a long time. I'm impatient like most everybody else. And I like to fix this right away if I could, but that's just not how the world works. Most people come in here, they've had this problem for years and years, so to expect it to be fixed, you know, overnight in one visit is just crazy. It's like expecting to diet 1 day a week and keep the weight off, or working out 1 day a week and expecting to stay in shape, or work out for a month and then stop for the year. And you know, so a lot of people come in with all sorts of crazy expectations in all my years of doing this. And I am not going to give you any fake expectations. I'm going to give it to you real. This is going to take 10 weeks, okay? All right, we're rounding the edges here because that's going to help this tape stay on for the extra long weekend for him. Now, for For those of you wondering what kind of tape, this is dynamic tape. This is not K-tape. There's a difference, and I've done videos on the differences between dynamic tape and K-tape. I'm not going to get into that today. So what I want you to do is bring your right arm back behind you and down like that. Yep. So I want to bring this clavicle up, this side up. So here's what we're going to do. I'm actually going to have him lay down and do this. So I'm actually, because it's much more than 7 millimeters separated and we don't have a lot of time, I'm actually going to push it up and then tape it up like that. So yes, we already adjusted, so lay on your back. And I do this a little bit differently in this situation, and I did it on the last case and it was really successful. So I'll actually, even though I already adjusted him, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to push with my hand. You okay? Yes. And I'm pushing his collarbone at the sternoclavicular joint up in the direction we want it to go, and then I am taping it in place. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay. And then I just rub it a little bit, get that adhesive to stick a little better. Okay, you're all set. You can go ahead and stand up. Okay, folks, if you guys have any questions about thoracic outlet syndrome or a clavicle misalignment, subluxation, or anything for that matter, feel free to comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for letting us do this video. And stay tuned because we're going to have a follow-up for him. So subscribe to the channel and then we're going to follow up with him in 4 or 6 weeks or as soon as we fix this. Even though we don't have 10 weeks to completely take him through, we'll show you that progression as it gets better. It may not be completely better in 6 weeks, but we should have you at least 60% improved. Okay? Thanks for tuning in. Thank you guys so much. If you got anything from this video, or even if you just like this view of the Empire State Building and the Chrysler Building, give me a like and don't forget to subscribe. Appreciate you guys.